Chop small, small, chop long time. Weak thoughts don't build strong minds. On the grind, that's all time. All time great, that's small time. The money I don't chop up. Wahala, no, they see the program. Hit the strip clubs in Europe and throw all my euros. I think I'm in Poland. I just moved Olo, you see me with no cam. Pero tengo unos locos que chocan. Mis enemigos no se equivocan. A las damas y niños no se tocan. I'm in the kitchen, I give you that fuego. Money to burn TOK on my pesos. Do as I say, si lo say so, I say so. You go for broke, I'ma go for my payroll now. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back. Foolish. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back. Foolish.
Hello, family, friends, and fellow flows. Welcome to another episode of Bursting with Energy. Today I have these beautiful ladies with me who will introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them. Today's episode is in the mind of a woman. So I'm going to be asking different questions in our discussion part, and we're going to see a variety of what they think it is to be a woman in today's society. So as we usually do, we're going to start with a little breath work. It's not a meditation, it's just breathing. Then we're going to do a game, and then we're going to go into our discussion part. The discussion part is going to be a lot longer than the rest because I really want them to be able to express themselves during that time. So if everyone's ready, let's get into it. Okay. Do you guys want to say your names real quick?
Kika.
Sarah.
Letitia.
Perfect. So everyone at home as well, if you could just get into a comfortable position, and let's start breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Today's all about relaxing, feeling your senses, and feeling comfortable. So as you inhale fresh energy, and exhale worries, burdens, pressure, like a detox. Inhale fresh energy, completely filling up all your cells to the bottom of your stomach, and exhale. Do it at your own pace. Inhale, completely filling up your lungs with fresh energy, fresh oxygen, fresh thinking. And exhale all the thoughts that are wandering or keeping you preoccupied. I'm going to give you guys some time to do it on your own and stop talking. Inhale fresh energy. And exhale. Inhale. Peaceful thoughts, loving thoughts. And exhale, harmful thoughts. The CO2 of your life. And exhale. And when you guys feel completely relaxed, at home if you feel completely relaxed, you can wiggle your body and open your eyes whenever you guys are ready. Good? How did that feel, guys?
Good.
Yeah?
It's nice to feel your lungs sometimes because I feel like sometimes you breathe a little shallow.
Yes.
And it's just good to like, you're like, oh, okay, it feels good to breathe.
That's the point. We take so much time breathing without really being conscious of our breath that sometimes we don't realize how we're intaking. This is the time to come into peace, feel your body, feel your breath, take in conscious breathing, conscious oxygen, and completely let go of anything that does not serve. Good?
Good.
So do it a few minutes a day, guys, if you can, several times a day, just to feel yourself. Are you guys ready for a game?
Girl, let's get it. We're ready.
Let's get it. All right. So today's game is called Butter Me Up. Okay? And basically we're going to be complimenting each other. Okay? And because there's not going to be a winner today, because I didn't want to, the best compliments, it's kind of weird. So there's a 25% discount on essential oils. If you guys are here part of the live, you can write me, essential oil, and then email me at info@justflowcoffee@gmail.com. info@justflowcoffee.com, sorry. And then I'll put it in the description box as well. So you guys, you get, if you want essential oils, 25% off
Okay.
for everybody.
We love that.
All right.
Happy
So I'll give you guys 1 minute each. And you basically have to compliment the girls at this table for 1 minute, as many compliments as you can come up with. And we'll give you a point for each compliment.
Oh, wow. Okay, so who goes first?
Butter me up. Why do you guys why are we doing that? We'll talk about it after. Okay?
Oh, y'all.
Who wants to start? Is there a volunteer?
I'll
No?
start. Okay. I'll butter you guys up.
Baby, please.
She's ready.
And if you guys want to leave compliments in the chat box for these ladies, go ahead. Or if
Butter
there's
us
somebody
up.
beside you and you want to butter them up, go ahead. Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, now you're both very beautiful. Right there. Your skin is glowy. The smiles are beautiful. I really like your energy. Like, you guys both have positive energy. I don't really know you well yet, but I like your vibe when you came in. You look clean in your dress. The red looks amazing on you. It really looks good. And I really like your glasses. You know, it complements your face and it kind of like brings you out more. I like that you both look super happy to be complimented. Your nails, I see that you're taking care of them. Even you, they're short, but they're clean. You know, it's all in the little details. And you guys seem to like take care of like the tiny things that people might not notice.
Look at the facial expression.
Right? I love the confidence too. You know, some people shy away from compliments. Like you're like pulling in, and that's good because it's like you believe it. You know, you have nice laughs. You guys, I'm glad you're here.
Done.
Good.
Krisha. Yeah, she took a lot of that 1 minute. I think she made the best of that 1 minute. Would you like to go next?
Yes.
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Your eyes are mesmerizing.
Oh, sorry. That was my bad, guys. Go ahead.
Your eyes are mesmerizing. They're very gentle and honest.
Oh, thank you.
I love your smile. It's bright and unapologetic. The shape of your face is quite intriguing and it captivates the eye.
I love your aesthetic that you came in with today. Your skin is beautiful. I love the hair color on your skin. It's bold, it's rich, it's your personality. I love your aura. You're very here, you're present.
I love the fact that you ladies came in and you guys are very warm and inviting.
I love your tone of laughter.
Oh,
It's subtle, but it's delicate and it's noticeable. We love to see it.
And God, y'all.
God, y'all.
I love the warmth that comes from you. You're very gentle and very dude with it.
And you're quite quiet. Why so? I don't know.
Finish.
Because when you speak-
Thank you.
Is she quiet though?
Is she? That's the question.
Listen,
That
I'm not
is
here to
the
put my baby
question.
girls on blast.
What you mean?
All right, are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
So I like that you are both very beautiful. You're very kind. You give off positive vibes. You're very bubbly. I feel like you're very down to earth. Like I don't really know you, but I feel like you seem like a lot of fun to be around. And you are. You're very inviting. You're very like you're very social. So you're able to invite anyone who comes in and make them feel accepted and make them feel included, and that's very important. You're very intelligent.
Thank you.
And your smile's beautiful. Like your smile's so welcoming. I feel like inviting anyone's day out. You both look really good. Like I love the dress.
Finish.
Is everything.
Thank you, guys. So how did it feel to get compliments and receive compliments?
It was actually interesting to like give compliments because you realize that like you notice all these little things about people and like yeah, sometimes you appreciate them in your mind, but it brings forth more how much, like, like I noticed that you look good, but now I'm really looking and I'm like, oh wow, like you really do look beautiful, and like you really are glowing. I really do like your smile. It, like focuses the attention on it, and it was also really nice to see like you guys like smiling and feeling happy because it made you glow even more. So like I like that aspect.
I think it's a great give and take. I think it brings comfort. I think it shows love. I think it creates a sort of connection within one another, and also boosts your confidence. Not just receiving, but giving. I love giving compliments. I love making people feel good about themselves. I like for them to feel seen and noticed. So that's like one of my favorite things to do, and one of the things I love most. And so receiving it is wonderful, but being able to give it is bigger for me. So I'm loving it.
And go on to
Well, for me, I would say that I love uplifting people. I think it's very important because we live in a society that's, that focuses on like putting others down or, putting others down to look better. So I think it's important that, when someone comes in and they look good, like they dress, always trying to find the positive in someone. And also like, receiving compliments, it helps you to realize a lot of things about yourself, like things you didn't notice. If someone's like, oh, you have a beautiful smile, maybe you never thought about it. And you just like, oh, okay, I do. And then it's something that you take and then you like make a part of you, like, oh, I have a beautiful smile. So I think that's important.
Yes, and that's the point. And what did you guys think of the time slot? So we have one guest that has added herself. We're going to get her to do the butter me up for them as well. And then we'll go into our discussion part. Welcome, Jackie.
Welcome. So, Maria. 1 minute.
Yeah, what did you guys think?
Longer than it is. I was talking for a minute and it passed very, very quickly. Actually, I was like, oh, I could have kept complimenting them,
Oh, wow.
I actually thought like, oh, I thought it would be harder and I'd be more like wouldn't know what to say, but they came pretty like naturally. So
Good.
yes.
Are you good? All right. What did you guys think of the 1 minute? Was it long? Was it short? Was it too much time? Was it
Not
a lot?
too much time, but it definitely felt a bit longer because I wanted the compliment to be sincere. So I was trying to think not so much on the physical, but personally. What did I know about them? What did I notice about them on a more personable level? And then that 1 minute just felt so long because I was like, oh, I got to think about it.
I think it felt shorter than I thought because I was like, okay, we'll start with like qualities and features and whatnot, and then maybe move to the clothes. Like, but then after that, when I got to the clothes, I'm like, oh, okay, 1 minute is done.
All right, Jackie. So we're doing butter me up. Whereas you have to compliment the ladies here for 1 minute.
Not my first language,
Tu peux le faire en français, c'est bon. Tu peux parler en français here, on est bilingue, c'est Montréal. On comprend les deux langues, so c'est bon.
Are we gonna do her
So,
as well?
yeah, do you guys if we take 1 minute for you three to do it.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds
Yeah,
great.
1 minute for all three.
Yeah,
Then.
we'll start
Yeah.
there. Do you
And I
wanna,
have to do 1 minute for each of them?
so you can do 1 minute, yeah, you want each of them together. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Should we start with their compliments then and then
Yes.
okay. All right, so you guys ready? We'll do 1 minute for you guys and then we'll do her 1 minute.
Awesome.
So she can understand the concept. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And motherhood suits you beautifully. I love your smile and your hair, girl, serving.
You have a beautiful smile too. Yeah, actually have a very classy, sophisticated aura about yourself. You're calm. You have a beautiful baby. Yeah, you have really nice energy. Yeah, I think you're naturally beautiful. No makeup needed.
Turning red.
And you look very calm. You look very determined. You look a positive person. I don't know you, but you seem positive. I also like your accents, like the French accent you have. It's very kind of like when you speak English, it's like do, but like it's not my first language, but it's a bit charming. So it's like I like that as well.
And there's 1 minute.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Your turn, Jackie. So now you have 1 minute to compliment the ladies. Okay. Ready? Or,
Okay.
ready? 3, 2, 1.
I really don't know what to say, but okay. I'm happy What can I say? What can I say? I like ok, j'aime ton regard.
Oh, merci.
J'aime bien ton regard. Je trouve que c'est très comme profond. Ouais. Il y a une chose qui m'a attirée au premier abord. With you, what can I say? Tu ressembles à quelqu'un qui est très comme tu es charmante en fait, genre comme je sais pas comme si j'étais un homme et que je te parlais tu entends ça. I think I would like that. Genre j'aime bien cette énergie, c'est un peu comme the child in you that you know.
Thank you.
That comes from. Yeah, yeah. Toi, tu as vraiment comme j'ai le sentiment que tu vas pas age. C'est genre, je te regarde et puis c'est toujours, you look so young. Mais même en prenant de l'âge, à chaque fois que je te regarde, c'est genre vraiment genre.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. So now let's talk about the energy of compliments. Why does it suit bursting with energy theme?
The vibration. It elevates the vibration of the room, elevates the vibration of each individually.
Yes.
Now we're more smiley, now we're more receptive, now we're more open, now we're more giving. Clever.
Exactly. So take a minute at home to compliment someone that you love in your life. Random person even. In the street, you compliment someone and it elevates their day, it elevates your day. Share that love. Make sense, guys?
Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Aria, you want some compliments too?
She wants
You
compliments.
beautiful baby.
Là, ils sont bisous, elle est contente.
All right, so we're going to go into the discussion part now that everyone is feeling energetic. We're going to ask a little bit personal questions just to get into the mind of a woman. Ready, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll take the time. Anyone that feels like they want to talk first, we'll respect each person, give them the time to talk, and then let the next person talk. So what do you love about being a woman?
I can go first. So for me, what I love about being a woman is that, I'm able to grow. Like I've learned a lot, like learned from my mistakes, and I've learned to forgive myself and others. And for me, it's just like the growth process and, being able to, correct my own mistakes and, to set boundaries. I think that's something that I've always had difficulties doing before. And, in terms of like relationships, work, I feel like I've been able to be more firm about that. And just by doing that, like I'm happier. So that's for me, like, being able to do things that make me happy and being firm in my decisions. So yeah, that's my answer.
I think it's kind of the same, learning to set boundaries. This is something that I think we never stop working on it because we always have new relationships, new friends, new jobs, new.
Yeah.
So it evolves with time, and I think I've learned to listen to myself and not be scared to make choices, even though people are gonna look at me like, but why are you doing that? Or you shouldn't do that. Or in society, that's how you should be. So, and now I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is what I want. This is how I feel. I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, that's what I like.
I like that.
Well, I think there's like, I believe there's like a divine energy that like comes with being a woman. You kind of have like this, also society has expectations of us, but we bring this like feminine lightness, I think. And it's nice that, of course, sometimes we can be hard, but we can also switch to like this gentle, like nurturing energy. And like we can nurture ourselves and nurture each other and like we can be cute, There's that, I also like that I can like dress up and like be a different version of myself every day. And like I agree with the growing, but I really think it's a lot of the energy that we bring in that like soothes things or like allows things to fall into place in a beautiful way, because yes, there's structure, but with being a woman, you also have that second aspect of yourself where you care about like the way things align, if it's in a good way, if it's in a gentle and uplifting way, and it's not always just like rigid and hard. Like I think there's a flexibility to being a woman, and I genuinely appreciate that. I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
would say the complexities. I feel like we're very complex beings, especially these days. I get to be hard and soft. I get to be powerful yet yielding. I get to be dominant and be submissive. I get to have that range in a more comfortable space. I get to be emotionally open and soothing to others, and I get to be emotionally reclused and guarded at other times. And I think as I'm getting older as a woman, it's that range is I'm becoming more accepting of it, because we always have this one way of being seen. However, I think that I've been raised by Amazonians, so like, I like the range that we're allowed to have and to be able to flow within different spaces while still remaining in our divine selves.
I like that. Thank you, guys. Does anybody want to add anything? No? At home, let us know in the comment section. If you are a woman, let us know what you love about it. What are insecurities that you've had in your lifetime because of society?
Okay, I'll go first. There's also this expectation, a standard that you have to have as a woman. What is femininity? Like, do I have to look a certain way? There's the standard of, oh, you have to be curvy, but you have to be skinny, but you have to be this, but you have to be that. And it makes people believe that there's one standard. But if you're born a woman, you're a representation of a woman. So you're everything that you could be, and a lot of people don't see that. And it gets you caught up in your head. You maybe start doubting yourself, and when you doubt yourself, like, your energy shrinks, and then you get caught up again in that, like, am I being a woman enough? I think it's also like an insecurity would be like to be judged of what people expect me to be as a woman, instead of just being me and allowing myself to be a representation of a woman. And, that's one for me.
I think for me, it's wondering if I'm good enough or if I'm even enough at all, right? If I'm too ambitious, I'm intimidating. If I am too powerful, I'm too stern. It's too much of a masculine trait. And, I know I have masculine energy in me, and I want that to be as present and as accepting as my feminine energy. So for me, I was very insecure about, am I handling myself well? Am I representing myself well? If I show a different facade, is that still acceptable? Or will I be seen or categorized as something? And what are the consequences that will come of it? And for a long time, that's something that daunted on me, right? If I get up today and I feel like I'm in a tomboy mood, does that take away from my femininity, right? Does it take away from my capacities? If I'm in a more leadership or more powerful role, does it stop me from being compassionate and open? So those were insecurities that bit at me for a while, and I think that as I'm growing into my space and into myself, I'm less and less concerned. Yeah, I feel like I'm less and less concerned now, but yeah, definitely some big insecurities.
I would say, like, insecurities, especially like when I moved to Canada, were more like integrating into like the mainstream society, and trying to find your place and trying to adapt to a different culture, a culture that does not understand your let's say your accent or your values, and then feeling kind of like rejected by this society, and trying to find yourself in the middle of that, and for finding time to accept yourself so that others can accept you. I think for me that was like the biggest difficulty, and obviously now it's like now I can say that like I'm very comfortable in my skin, but that was definitely a difficulty, like coming and finding yourself, like discovering yourself. So yeah.
Comes with age. You get older, you get more confident.
There's so many. One of them is, I think when I went to university anyway, it's about what I should become. For men, it's like, okay, they have to go to school, they have to provide. But for women, it's like, yes, you have to go to school, you have to do that. At the same time, you need to find a man, and you need to have kids by this age. You need to, and I wasn't able to find my place in all of that. Like, I wanted it all, but I didn't know like how to place it, which one was coming first. And at the beginning, your parents or people tell you, yeah, but you have time to find someone. And then and then, and then it's like, what are you doing? Well, I'm focusing on school, and maybe school is taking longer because I don't know what I want to do, and I'm not sure, and and yeah, that was difficult.
Oh, thank you guys for sharing. That was very open. I don't know if you'd like to share your insecurity as well. Like you thought to take the time to do that, but that was awesome, guys.
Can I say one more?
Stuff that people relate to. Go ahead.
Growing up, actually, it took me a while to accept my skin tone because being dark, even now it's different. Now it's like, ooh, dark skin, melanin, magic. In the early 2000s, you're dark and it's just something everyone, oh, why are you so dark? Oh, you're going to disappear when we turn off the lights. Everybody disappears in the dark, but, those things get into your head and like just comments people make, especially if you're the darkest in the room, people just be like, oh, you're so much darker. Like, how are you related to your parents, like to your mother? She's so light, and things like that make you think like, is there something wrong with my tone? And now I'm like, no. Y'all all want to look like me now, And so, but like, that's also something that like gets in your head and just like also ties back into doubt. But then it's true, when you get older, you become more confident because you don't doubt yourself and you accept yourself and you're like, this is me. And since I like me, you're all going to like me too. But
yes, I love that. Thank you guys. The energy you guys brought in was so loving. And that's what we want. We want be supportive with people that like can take your insecurities, that can accept them, and that can understand you, and that are not going to judge you for it. We want to be in a loving environment, and that's what I wanted to bring In the Mind of a Woman into a loving environment that they could share. Are you guys ready for the next question?
Yes.
All right. How did your childhood impact your womanhood? You said that a little bit. But
It's really similar to you. So I was born in France, and that there was another girl. She was darker, but still we were the two dark, girls in the class, and so that was difficult. And then I went to Ivory Coast when I was 10 or 11, and then I was the lightest person, in the class, and not all of the time, but most of the time. And it's like, well, there's nowhere you belong at the end of the day. So that was my childhood. I'm like, my accents, even in French, like I was in Ivory Coast, we speak French, but you speak like a French person. Like, how am I supposed to speak, So even my accent wasn't good enough for them. I was too light, I was too and then when I was in France, I was too dark, I was, So, yeah, that was my childhood. I had to find my place, and it was difficult. And with age, you just, I accept myself, I love myself. Either you take me or you leave me alone.
do you guys feel like it strengthened you as women?
Because you have to build your own confidence.
Yeah, but it's like I listened to something like that yesterday. It's like you go through it, it hurts you, but at the same time, you get stronger. But I wouldn't want my child to go through that, even though it would threaten her at the same
There's
time. So
several ways to find strength. So you can't always restrict it to this way. Go ahead.
I was born and raised in New York, so my childhood, in terms of colorism, that's not something I ever really paid attention to. In terms of womanhood, because I saw my mom, doing her thing. She was thriving. My mom
They can be positive too.
my mom. My mom was a single mom, and she gave us really everything, and she really influenced my womanhood today because I don't know how she did it. To be quite frank, I don't know how she did it. I never felt an absence or a need genuinely. I was always playing. I was always joyful. She always made time for us, even though she worked 16 hours. Like, she would make time for us to do road trips and do shopping every weekend, and to manage to bring me to work with her on days that I didn't feel so good, which is a concept that I see new parents, like, going through right now, like giving their children like a day off and stuff like that. So the fact that she was able to be so well-rounded, and be so nurturing and be so loving, but yet be so hardworking, being the administrator, you know what I mean? Being the provider, being the mother, being the friend. that gave me the example of truly this sort of beautiful, complex strength. And that just, looking at her, I'm like, I want to be everything like that and more. Now that I'm older, my God, I don't even have kids yet. Mind you, she had 2 kids by my age. And I genuinely called her the other day and I was like, Mom, I'm in awe. Because how did you pull it off? I'm by myself and I can barely navigate or find my footing, like you were saying. Like, it's so hard for us to find our placement. So looking at her, I'm just like, okay, I want to emit that inner strength. I want to be able to radiate all of that warmth, but still have that stern, you know, very iron-like quality. I think it's beautiful. I think it's complex. I think it's complicated. And I think that she pulled it off fantastically.
Thank you. Sarah, childhood, how did it impact your womanhood?
I'll say my childhood had a great impact on my womanhood because when I was 8, I moved away from my parents because when we were younger and we went to war, we moved to an English-speaking country. And when we came back to Congo, which is French, I couldn't learn in French anymore. So at 8, I had to like move away. I had to go to boarding school. So I was like on my own. So, you know, I had to be more, you know, independent than many of my peers. So, you know,
Mentally strong.
yeah, I had to be mentally strong. I had to protect myself more because I was more on my own. And I think, you know, that's one thing that, you know, people have a difficult time understanding. Like, oh my goodness, he's so serious, he's so this. Because I've had to, like, at a young age. So it's just like, you know, some people can allow themselves, like, when they're younger, you know, do whatever you want and whatnot. But I've had to protect myself because I'm just like, okay, if I mess up, like, I'm on my own. I don't have my mom. I don't have my dad. So I think for me, you know, and that has helped me to be disciplined in life. You know, I always have to be, you know, I'm mindful about the decisions that I make and stuff because I'm still in that mode of like that 8-year-old that has to survive and, you know, do what you gotta do to make it out there. So yeah.
Thank you. I want you guys to just be aware of how, like, the different backgrounds that they come from and how it turned them into these beautiful women, and just understanding where they come from and the impact that it has on womanhood. Thank you guys.
I didn't get to go.
Tisha.
Oh, sorry.
This is my childhood. I'm just kidding. There's a lot of things that impacted my childhood, but I guess one that impacts my womanhood is that my parents showed me like a lot of strength, you know. They showed me determination, like hard work, you know, struggles, but always keeping a smile on your face. So it gave me a lot of, I guess, resolve and like will to get things done. But they also like showed me their hardships, so it showed me like the realities of the world and gave me an awareness that like things aren't always easy. It's not always fun and games, and you have to know how to deal with those things and cope with the hard days or the struggles when things don't go the way you want them to. So like they kind of showed me an ideal world. Like they were so like, my parents were so happy, and like, you know, when the family's happy, everyone's good, on rit avec les cousins, and like you're just in a good vibe. But then they also showed me like how real adulthood is and that it's not easy. And so then when I got there, of course I'm a little bit shocked at how things go, but I'm not completely blindsided because I saw that, you know, you have to work every day to get better, and you have to always like try, and you can't just wake up and think everything is going to be perfect. So I have a lot of positive energy, but I think I am also very in touch with the realities of the world and the hardships that come with it. So.
Thank you guys. Yes. I feel like you guys came out pretty awesome, no?
Yeah, I think so.
So even with difficult past, you can come out amazing and beautiful and radiant.
Yes.
All right, what is the role of a woman in society? It's a more complex question. I'm going to tell you guys quotes at the end too. We're going to rate them.
I'm going to try. Okay, so she decides what's her role. You know, we don't all have the same one. So there's not just one. First of all, we can have children, and nobody else can. So the magic in that. So basically, and a woman can decide if she wants to have children or if she doesn't want to. So she doesn't have to be the mother, but she can be the mother. And that's what I want to say about roles. It's like there's not one role for a woman. She decides what she wants to be, and there's like so many choices.
Limited.
Exactly. So
Thank you.
I wanted to say, for me, I think that the concept of having roles for women is what limits women, because it tells you that you need to be a specific way. And I'm thinking of like growing up with like African parents, and my mom's like, oh, when I was 29, I already had 2 kids. Whatever. It's just like they tell you age, and then it kind of like puts pressure on you. And then I think a woman decides where she wants, like you said, a woman decides where she wants to be, because where you decide to be is needs to be your happy place. And for me, I've learned that with family and stuff, just like growing up, now growing up, and your parents, your aunties, society putting limitations on you has kind of like made me realize that I'm not going to let society decide what I'm going to be. I'm where I am, and having to explain that to parents, especially African parents, and being like, I think I'm at a happy place. I will get there when I get there, when it comes to children or marriage or school, whatever. But everyone has a different path to take, and not everyone is gonna follow like, okay, marriage, school, marriage. No, people decide their lives differently, and I feel like that's where women need to decide what they want to feel happy. Yeah.
Role of a woman in society. Are we educators? Are we leaders? Do we bring balance?
That's
Do
exactly
we
the word I was
bring
thinking.
perspective? My God, easily a mother could take on the role of provider, right? Being a mom on your own is one thing. Being a provider is another. Being an educator is another. Being the accountant, the business person in the house is another. Taking over your household is another. Being the creative, I think, is another. We are vastly creative. We don't have a choice but to be. Being a symbol, a different symbol of strength, I think. Because when we refer to strength, we always think of, everything that's outer. However, women, since physically we don't match men, we have to come up with more creative, more intelligible ways to show strength. So
in tradition, there's actually a lot of symbols that represent strength as women.
And I don't doubt it, but like it's just so contrary to at least the Western world where I'm from, that perspective. So, oh my God, the role of a woman is whatever she decides it to be. But my God, we could be a little bit of everything.
I agree. Like the keyword that stuck with me was balance. I guess if I had to say we had a role, it would be balance, whatever that may be. It's like infinite possibilities. Like, whether it's balance in your relationship and being a good partner that uplifts your person so that together you can create something beautiful. Whether it's balance in your work life so that your passions are fulfilled and you accomplish all the goals you have. Like, whether you want to be a cook or you want to be a driver, or we're not men, and I think that's something we have to accept. Each has their own role, each has their own energy, and we have to also remember that we want to combine energies to create something greater. So yes, of course, like we can't say there's a specific role, like you're the mother and you're just gonna cook and there better be a sandwich, like, it's really not that. It's about, if that's the role you want to take on because that creates balance in the life you want for yourself, then that's exactly what you're gonna do. If you decide that every day wearing shoes, like these fancy shoes, is my style, or every day just going outside and helping one person, then I think our role is also to remind the world of like, kindness, and like to be gentle and to bring everyone like down to earth and just create, I guess, a world that anyone can be anything, including whoever you're with and yourself, So I guess that's what really I would say, balance.
Anyone want to add anything? No?
Who runs the world?
So basically we anchor.
Yeah. We create, I guess, stability because, let's say if a man goes out and he's working all day, because realistically men like to, they have their structure, they have their standard, they oftentimes want to be a provider. And so you're going to need someone who can help balance that energy when you come back. So it's like, oh, I'm tired. And some people, I don't want to cook for you, but it's like, you worked all day. So to create that balance so that they can continue to provide for you or like help you and make you feel good and happy, you also have to be there to make them feel happy,
Also be vice versa.
Exactly. If they decide, I want to stay home, I want to take care of, if it's something that's happy, and you're always going to align with the people in your life, whether it's your friends, whether it's your partner, whether it's your parents, when you align with them and your goals, you're gonna find peace because each of you will find a role that creates the entire, like, I guess, the working force, the mechanism, exactly, a functional community, you know, and you just fall into your roles, whatever that is.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit personal here, guys. Is a relationship important to you, and why?
My gosh.
Like, is it any relationship? Okay.
Okay.
I'm just asking.
Relationships in general, yes. I get to explore the world through someone else's eyes. I get to learn about myself through learning about you. I get to grow because the experiences that I would have naturally gone for, maybe you'll show me something different. So in terms of growth, in terms of imagery, in terms of projection, in the sense that if I see you do something great, I know I can do it great as well. Just as if I see you fail, I know that it's also humanly normal to do so as well. So I think that having relationships creates this, naturally, it's reciprocity, it's energy being exchanged. And I will bring you something, you will bring me something different. And at the end of the day, I carry a piece of you, you carry a piece of me, and we are either better or worse, but more better developed because of it. Romantically, question mark, y'all. I'm gonna leave a little question mark.
Is that question mark I don't know, or I'm still figuring it out?
Still figuring it out. Because yes and no, because romantic relationships are beautiful. That is just a different, if you fall into the right one, what I think is so beautiful about it is the synergy. You know, merging yourself with someone else. Like, I think people are very superfluous with it today because everything is so fast paced, but they don't understand what it is to have that genuine connection, what it is to, like, sort of rotate around another person. You know, it is a dance. You know, it is a dance. It is a flow, you know, when you guys navigate towards one each other and you guys, you know, float around one each other, and it's a beautiful pull, and it's a beautiful balance as well. And it's such a great learning experience. If you do find a genuine connection, it is one of the most beautiful, most intimate, most intricate sort of relationships. But at the same time, I also understand the beauty and the value in learning to have a very solid relationship with yourself.
That's why
you know, and like,
you can have a relationship with yourself.
Yeah, and so that is a more complex, that is a more complicated one, having to accept yourself, your qualities, your flaws, having to hold yourself accountable. My God, I'm not going to take it too much of the stage.
The beauty in that is that you also get to, the more you accept yourself, the more you're accepting of others.
True.
The more you know yourself, the more you'll look at someone and be less judgmental towards them. Anybody else want to answer? You said a lot.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think that relationships add something or remove something from you. So for me personally, I would say that relationships help me to learn a lot about myself, and it's part of, like, it helps me build my sense of self, because, you know, when I'm around a person who, let's say, uplifts me, and I want more of, you know, the energy that this person gives me, and I learn about myself. And when I'm with someone who maybe, like, puts me down or, you know, doesn't make me feel good, then I automatically want to find ways to, like, you know, either set boundaries or, like, find ways to cut that person off, because, you know, I have to be receiving something positive from you, because it also helps me to be myself. So if I'm receiving a lot of negative energy from you, and then it's also like shutting it's taking away from you know, my love for myself, because now I'm seeing this negative perspective that you're trying to force on me. And if I stay there, it's just like, you know, hearing negative things. Oh, you're not good enough all the time. Then, you know, it becomes unconsciously becomes a part of who you are.
It becomes you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said a lot, you know, and yeah. So for me, we have many soulmates.
One of yours is coming.
In friends, in lovers, in children, and we learn from them. There's always a lesson. For me, to each relationship, there's a lesson. So yeah, it's important, and that's the reason why. Because like she said, we learn from each other, we learn from ourselves, and whether it's like a romantic relationship or not, it's yeah, that's the same thing. So
Thank you, guys. Go ahead.
I do think relationships are really important. Relationships, well, they'll always inspire you, right? You know, like I met you today, but we've already built a relationship. I have an idea of you in my head, and like I know that you say like very inspiring things, and like you're a thoughtful person, and
thank
that
you.
that can inspire me. Like relationship is any type of, I guess, communication or connection you have with a person that's more than just like a passing thought, and it's really important because it's true. It does like create an identity for yourself. It does give you perspective of how other people see you, because if I'm treating you a certain way and then like I can tell, oh, Sarah doesn't like me, and like I can automatically think, she's a B, or I can be like, how am I acting to make her, it can allow you to reflect on yourself and like make yourself a better person, because you can see the way you treat people and the way people act around you. And so I think it's also really important because it also keeps you out of your head. A lot of the times we spend most of our time locked in our head just thinking. And when you're interacting with people or building a relationship, you have to come outside that and like experience your live reactions, your live emotions. You're not just by yourself anymore. You're sharing your energy, and that shared energy is what like will kind of reveal yourself, because we probably all think that we're a certain way in our heads, and then sometimes you find yourself in a situation and you're like, I wouldn't even usually react like that. Like you might get mad at you, but it's because now you're outside, now you're living in the moment, and then you may be different. And so having relationships allows you to experience that. And I guess also intimate relationships are important too, because well, how did we all get here, right? Are we just gonna are we gonna go extinct? So those are important.
My next question. When I say sex, what does that mean to you?
Babies.
I like your direct answer.
Language. Yeah, I think for me, sex is a way of communicating. Depends on how you decide to go about your sex, but I'm a very passionate person. I think I'm very sensual, and so I need to have that connection. I feel like it's a way for us to communicate. I think it's a way for us to get closer to one another. I think it's a way for me to experience you in a softer, more vulnerable light, and for us to share that vulnerability together. So what sex means to me is like, it's really a language where we get to really communicate and see if we speak the same tongue.
I'd be interested to hear at home what you guys have to say about this concept.
I'm sorry?
No. I was saying I would be interested to hear at home what you guys would say about this concept as well.
Yeah.
Tisha said babies. Is that your final answer?
No, I have my.
Would you like to go
I
first?
would say, I think, like you say, sex is communication, and it's a very profound form of communication. I think it's like when sex is like when it's the coming together of like two souls, and I feel like when with sex, like you're communicating your energy like in a different level than when you're interacting with everybody else. So it's like a deeper connection, like the person's feelings, the person's energy, like everything they've been to kind of like intertwines with who you are, and then it comes together. So sex is not like, it's very, I guess it's something very profound, and like you said, it's about being vulnerable with someone. It's something that you wouldn't do with it's an access you don't give to everybody, and when you do give that access to a person, then it's like a privilege. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for me personally,
Babies?
Babies. Everyone can define sex their own way. Some people are a lot more open about it. They just want to do whatever. For me personally, it's a very intimate thing. I don't think for myself, for my own personal life, I would want to just go share myself with everyone, because I agree that it's something very profound. You're connecting yourself with someone and allowing yourself to be like vulnerable and saying, I'm going to give to you something that I'm not going to just give to everyone. I can give everyone a conversation. I can give everybody a hug, but this is something that we're building a type of intimacy that you wouldn't want to have with other people, because you're like, this is, you know, it's a private part of yourself. It's more than just like an action for me personally. It's more than, of course, like you're like, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, I think you should be having fun with, like, I want to have fun with just one person, you know, to grow, to build, to learn somebody's body and learn what pleases them and understand their love language versus, you know, being confused about it. Oh, what does this person like? Or what does this person like? Oh, you never really know what's going on. So I think it's really a deeper connection that you try to build with someone once you've built an emotional connection and you
So
want it to be like more than that. you know?
Spiritual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
A spiritual dance.
And just to add, like when she said emotional, it reminded me of something. Like I feel like before even being physical, it's emotional. It's an emotional state of mind first. You know how the person makes you feel and stuff. I feel like if you're not feeling the person's energy of the person, you're not emotionally connected to that person. It's hard to even get to the physical part of sex. You know, for some people,
She's
No,
sensual.
I think
She's
not
like,
even. It's just like not everybody goes about it that way now.
No,
But
exactly. Like we said, it depends on each person.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
some people it's just like, okay, it's just for fun. You know, I'm gonna do what I want to do with whomever. But for other people, it's like deeper than that.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
all.
there's also nothing like wrong with that. I feel like a lot of people judge people for how they standardize sex. It's like, oh, you want to sleep
Sex is
around,
taboo, but
and it's
actually
like,
something that we all came here through sex. So it's something we should be able
Exactly.
to talk about, and we all came here through different methods. Some of us are accidental babies.
Accidental
Some
babies.
Some of us are backstabbing. Some of us are planned. So
Yeah.
it depends, and we need to understand the concept that everyone has when it comes to sex.
and that it's okay to talk about it. We should talk about it. Being unaware and uninformed, you're gonna end up in des situations là
Yeah.
bizarres. Oh. So you
It
should
definitely
talk about
shouldn't be
it.
taboo.
Yes,
Like-
definitely not. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Amazing. I wanted to hear from Mama Bear, but we'll go
Mama
back to her
Bear.
later.
You know, babies.
So next is if your partner cheats on you.
Bye. Sorry, continue.
Does that necessarily mean for you that they no longer love you? And what would you? Oh, Mama Bear is back. I want to hear her concept first. What does sex mean to you? When I say sex, what does that mean to you?
yes, girl.
We heard babies, we heard fun, we heard spiritual dance, we heard intimacy, connection.
All of it. No, because I think that when you have sex with someone, first of all, it's like you share your energy, but you receive also energy. And mostly for men, since you know they ejaculate in us, we receive a lot. So for me, you have to really be careful with who you invite.
Into your
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, because you receive sometimes some very not so good energy, and
Very
you
toxic
carry it.
energy.
You carry it because at first you don't know what it means, you don't know how it affects you, and so you just carry it, and it has an impact on you. And yeah, so you have to be careful about that.
Thank you. Next question. If your partner cheats on you, does that necessarily mean that they no longer love you? And what would you do?
I don't know if it means they don't love you because love can be defined in many ways. I would though say that they don't respect you. And like I guess you have to also know the state of your relationship. Are you in an open relationship? Are you in a just us two? But like the word cheating implies that, you know, it's going behind your back and it's like in an unfaithful, like just harmful way. It's like, you know, why would you need to go look for something else when you can just be single and sleep with everybody? But when you're in a relationship, I think you're supposed to commit. And cheating, like you're not supposed to cheat on a test, you know, you get in trouble for that. And so you know you're doing something wrong. You're being sneaky and like it shows intention, and intention goes a long way, and like it says a lot about how you think about the person. And it's like you can love someone and perhaps not be in love with them, and maybe that's where cheating can arise. And you can say, but I love you, but the fact that you were able to maybe seek comfort or give in to your temptations, it shows that maybe your resolve or like the way you felt for the person isn't strong enough to keep you fighting for that. So I would say they don't respect you in the way that they should, and that's life sometimes.
What would you do?
Me personally, I would leave. I think I would leave very calmly because everyone, you have a freedom, like you're free to live your life. I'm not gonna put any expectations on you. You're gonna show me who you are, and I'll act accordingly. And a lot of people will beat themselves up and be hurt, but you also have to remember that everyone is living their own life. So they've decided to do this. I would remove myself from the situation because I personally wouldn't cheat on a person. I would be like, if I'm giving myself to you, it's completely. And if I'm not ready to do that, then I can just stay alone and just fréquenter des gens, like, talk to people, get to know people, sleep with different people. And there's nothing wrong with sleeping with people as long as you don't give someone the expectation that you're only going to give yourself to them. Because then they'll be there, like, waiting. And
Well put.
Yeah.
If someone were to cheat on me, I don't think that it means that they don't love me anymore. However, I think when somebody cheats on us, we have the tendency to blame ourselves. However, I think when people cheat, it has very little to do with us and more to do with them. Are you happy with yourself, first and foremost? What's going on? Are you dissatisfied with something? Like, it's more about that person and what state of mind they're in.
Would you have a conversation?
I would have a conversation because I would be very curious to know, baby, where you going? Baby, where you going? Like, come on now, like, you came for the package, so where are you going? However, like I said, it's not, that's that would genuinely be something that would go through my head, but at the same time, to be fair, it's not really necessarily always about us. There's something going on with that person, so I would want to know what's going on with you. Why did you feel that way? What led you to it? Like, baby, I got questions. However, the kind of lover that I am, when I commit, I am 100% giving. So, and trust is something that is instrumental for me. And I would, even if I didn't leave right away, the relationship would just not be the same. It would end eventually because I would not be able to look at you the same. I would not be able to touch you, to make love to you the same. Like, it would just be off-putting for me. And I would also want to give that person space to figure their business out. I don't want to be all up in that space when you're in that energy. So whatever is going on with you, figure that out. And I'm going to go handle my business because I got some things to figure out too, like my hurt, how I'm going to digest that. So that's where I'm at.
I like how you said trust, because it's true. Once trust is broken, you're always going to have like doubts. Like, you can be in a relationship, and when there's trust, everything is smooth. You don't worry about where are you, who are you talking to. But once that's broken, like those little invasive, intrusive thoughts are like, maybe you start feeling more stressed, anxiety goes up, and that's already enough to start making a relationship like shaky. And then that first crack can just grow and grow and grow. And you can try to paste it, you can try to cover it up, but once the crack is there, you can't fix it, And so.
So you think we can't fix the crack?
You can never fix a crack. You can solidify a structure, but the crack will always be there. You can fill it in, but there's always going to be that scar. And perhaps you fill it in enough that you gain stability again, but you can't ever like forget that, this is a possibility. You're now aware of a new scenario that you can be put in, and just new, new intentions. Like, oh, I didn't know that perhaps your mind could go in that direction. Now I know. And so you have that awareness. So you're always kind of like, c'est ta grand-mère?
I don't know if it's a Chinese saying or something like that, but it's about a vase that if you break it, you can try to, put it back together, but you'll still see the cracks, And that's trust. So yeah, for me, trust. When I trust you, I'm so much more in love with you. But if you do something like that, then you break the trust. And I think that as a woman, we also learn to set boundaries, and so it comes with time. And sometimes we stay in relationships where that don't necessarily are good for us. But yeah, if you cheat, that means that it doesn't necessarily mean that I did something wrong, or I'm bad, or I wasn't. And that's something that we have to think about every time. It doesn't mean that we are less, It means that they have something they have to work on, and it has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And even if they say that we do, we don't.
Exactly.
Clearly, because we could have had that discussion before you know. So yeah, and the intention. So you went there, you knew what was gonna happen, or even if it was on the spot, you let yourself go through it. So that's a decision.
I have a mentor who he says he has signals. So if the shirt is coming out, then you know. If the belt is coming out, then if the shoes are coming out, then you know. There's always these cues before you get to the nakedness.
And women sometimes we like to act blind. You just be like, no, you don't mean it. Or you're just like, oh, maybe I'm overthinking. We like to act like make excuses for other people
To see the
until
best
it might
out of
get
the
too far,
situation.
and then you're like, oh,
We should read those cues. We should trust people for who they present themselves as. Okay.
Maya Angelou said it best.
I would also say that in addition to to what everyone said, like respect, setting boundaries, trust, I would also say that it's important in a relationship to establish the expectations. What do I define as trust? I mean, as like cheating. What do you define as cheating? Because some people just think cheating is it's physical, but let's say talking to your ex, that could bother some people. So I think it's defining those, defining like what do I expect from you and what do you expect from me? Because sometimes there's people who are like in situationships and they're like, oh, you cheated on me, but it's just like it's clear. You need to make everything clear. It's like because a relationship is like a contract. It's just like, okay, this is what I expect from you. This is what I would like you not to do. This is what I would like you to do for me to feel respected. So I think having that conversation, a lot of people avoid that, and then when the bomb explodes and everyone's like, oh my goodness, you should have done this, but it's like you should have established that since the get-go. So yeah.
Thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We're gonna do one more question. How do you like to be loved? How do you need to be loved?
Anyone
You
want to
want
go
to
first?
start? You were singing, so you want to go first?
Okay, I guess I shall. How do I like to be loved?
Yes, or need to be loved.
How do I need to be loved?
This is more also if you really know yourself.
I think I need an authentic aspect to it. Like, I want to see your true self, like genuine, like being real. I don't want to feel stiff and like uncomfortable or like feel like I have to act a certain way for it. I want it to be natural. I want it to be easygoing. It's not always going to be easygoing, but you want to know that there's that genuine aspect where maybe, I found myself being vulnerable today and that was okay. Like, you accepted me for the actual me and not the one who I'm going outside, so put on your game face, put on your womanly, I am woman, I am me. You can be lazy, you can be laid back, you can be bougie today, you can feel like, you can be real. I also realized I like affection, I like kisses, I like hugs, like I want to be loved in like a gentle kind of like, intimate way, like little actions. I don't really need gifts, but I want to see like a genuine interest in like the things that I like, or just wanting to have a conversation. And I want you to be able to tell me the things that you like and like how you want to be loved. I think it's important to define how each person wants to be loved, whether it's gifts or just conversations or just holding hands, So I think I just want to be loved in a real way that's stress-free, and that always makes me want to work for it,
Oh.
Expression.
Yeah, am I next?
Yeah.
I know. The younger me wanted the spark. If I have a relationship and I don't feel that spark, I have to get to know you, to like you, to love you, I didn't want it. I wanted the spark. Like, when I see you, I'm like,
Instant.
I want him. I wanted before. I still want that. I still do, but and more. I want trust. I want communication. Like, I want the person that I'm with to be my best friend. I want to be able to tell you everything. Like, everything. I know that we still need like notre petit jardin secret.
Yeah.
Yes.
To to grow, to feel comfortable, to But I want to be able to tell you as much as I can, as much as I want, and I want that same energy, coming back at. I want to be free in my relationship. Like I don't want to feel like yeah, I don't like that. Like yeah, I need freedom as much as possible. Not I want you to be able to trust me as well, but I still want to feel like I'm not restricted. I like and I want. I'm not sure it's the word. Even in French, I wouldn't know how to say it. Like fairness. Like as much as I give you, I don't expect you to give me the same thing, but I want you to put the same effort. I don't want to feel like I'm giving too much of myself, too much of my time, too much. I'm doing too much, and I don't see anything in return. Like, and I'm very, very, very impulsive. So when I feel a type of way, when something goes, and I'll say it. And sometimes I'm very raw in the way I speak. Like I'll say things, and then I'm like, maybe I should have said this way, But yeah, that's me, and I need the person in front of me to accept that. And I don't want to have too many expectations. I feel like when you have too much expectation,
Disappointment.
But there's it's like if I had expectation, it would be up here. I want you to give me at least half of it. And there's something that my mom said. Yeah. As my mom told me, and I think a lot of people say it now, but she was like, the man has to love you more than you love him. Because women, we just, even though we say men are providers, we love to provide everything. Love, sex, and and so I don't think it's as natural for them. So they need to be, there needs to be balance, and for that balance to be in place, I think there needs to be more love coming from them and myself, So that's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, ladies.
You can go.
Okay. I need a grounding love. I want to have like an open space. I want to be comfortable to be my entire self, every aspect of myself. I want emotional trust, honesty, intimacy. I like openness. I love communication. I want to joke around with you. I want you to be my best friend. I want to wake up and look crazy because gorgeous, gorgeous girls look crazy in the morning. and genuinely feel good, feel wholesome, and feel beautiful with that person. And I like closeness and I like synchronicity. So when you're in tune with someone, the relation. And that is that spark that I'm more about now. Like when you're in tune with someone, it just flows differently. You don't have to try so hard. It'll be that I was having a bad day, but maybe I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't comfortable. And then you call me and then you just hear my voice and you're like, what's going on? You know me. And not in the superfluous way, but like you actually get to know me, my core self, and you allow me that space to feel good and comfortable around you. From men, like you said, it's not a given unless they are genuinely all about you. They're into you. So if I can't have that connection with you, if I feel like you can't give that to me, I'm not interested. All the other things are perks and bonuses, and we can all have our preferences, but your core person has to sing with mine. You have to make me sing. You have to make me glow. I have to literally think of you and think, my God. You know what I mean? Like, my God, I want to feel lucky to have you. So I think I want that sort of wholesome, soulful love. It has to have that soul in there. It has to have that honesty in there. There needs to be that authenticity to that. That easygoing. Yeah, that's my boo.
You want to be confident, show them off.
Be
proud of who you're with.
Oh my God.
I think what everyone said is valid. Like it's very important. But having someone who understands your worth and makes you feel like they're blessed to have you in their lives. I think that's very important, to feel valued, to feel respected, to feel like you can be yourself, to feel like, to not have to feel like you're walking on eggshells when you're in disagreement, because obviously when we talk about all this sparks and communication, there's also going to be disagreements, but for me, it's, how you handle that, still being able to make me feel safe when I disagree with you and not be like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? So for me, it's like, just don't beat me. But it's like, I have to be able to feel like I'm 100% myself. So, yeah.
Yes, thank you guys.
I also like the you made me realize passion. I think that's very important. If things are stale, like, you just know. You're just like, passion, I think, is very important, because it's more than just like an intimate passion. It's like, just sharing your passions and like an excitement. Excitement to share my oh, I have something to say, or like, I think about you when I'm excited, or oh my God, look, I got a new scarf. Just like something as simple as that, just that issue, that spark that makes you want to approach that person and want to accept them for like all their flaws too, because nobody's perfect, and sometimes men are. They don't know what's going on. So sometimes it's like being comfortable enough to tell them, like, you didn't catch on to the vibes, and I can tell you, and that's okay, And so,
Thank you, ladies. That was amazing. I'm going to tell you guys 3 quotes, and I want you guys to rate them. But before that, I want you guys to notice how they came with no judgments. In 2 weeks, we're going to have In the Mind of a Man. We're going to have similar questions, and we're going to allow them to express themselves and to say what they feel on their side, right? And then you guys can watch both episodes. So it's the series In the Mind of People, and see how women and men like to be loved and how it varies. Okay? So I'm going to read you guys a few quotes, and we're going to end on that note. If you guys want to do any sharing at the end, that will be amazing. But thanks for everything you've said. I think it's been so vast. I think it's been so beautiful and so radiant that I think people can benefit from it. Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm just like, aw. I feel so like.
All right, so are you guys ready?
Yeah.
This one is from Anais Nin. I, with a deeper instinct, choose a man who compels my strength, who makes enormous demands on me, who does not doubt my courage or my toughness, who does not believe me naive or innocent, who has the courage to treat me like a woman. What do you guys rate that?
Rate it how?
On 1 to 10.
I would say like a 7.
Girl, I'm at 5. Because that's all cute and everything, but I kind of want a soft love too, like.
Should I read it again?
Yes.
I, with a deeper instinct, choose a man who compels my strength, who makes enormous demands on me, who does not doubt my courage or my toughness, who does not believe me naive or innocent, who has the courage to treat me like a woman.
I would say that I have a problem with that enormous demand on me.
Yeah, actually, I didn't hear the enormous demand the first time.
It's cute until that part's like, enormous demands. What do you mean enormous demands?
Hashtag struggle love. No,
I
thank
know,
you.
right? It's just like slavery love, like.
I think it's that one part, but also like I like the very end, like who like will treat me as a
woman.
the courage to treat me as a woman.
Yeah.
And
I'll say 5.
Yeah.
I
And
give
like
it a
I'm like,
50-50. At home, let us know what you think as well. And is it perception as well?
Ooh.
When you say who doesn't doubt that I'm correct, that
Does not doubt my courage or my toughness.
like I think I'm gonna say 5.
Yeah?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
5. So everyone has said 5. Thank you. Next one. As a woman, I have no country. As a woman, I want no country. As a woman, my country is the whole world. Virginia Woolf.
I like that one. I think we belong to the world.
So they like it. They're like, eh.
I'm torn. I'm sorry. Is Virginia Woolf a black woman?
She was a white woman.
White woman. Okay, so that kind of like
Killed
that kind.
herself.
Oh Lord, child.
But she has amazing books. Like, yeah.
For this one, I would
Should I read it
say.
one more time?
Bless us.
Yeah. Read.
As a woman, I have no country. As a woman, I want no country. As a woman, my country is the whole world.
I like the first 2 parts, the middle one.
I have a. I
So
guess
torn.
it's for. Yeah, I think I'm torn because it's just like I I belong somewhere. Like I came from something. My experience have shaped who I am. So, I cannot say that I've come from, like I have no country and stuff like that. Where I'm from is what I identify with. Being African, being black. So I can't say I have no country. So I think
You guys were more.
Because I kind of believe that, like, it's one world. I think there's too much division in the world. Of course, we're all different. We have different cultures based on where we are, but we're still just one people. Like, it's like we're on the same planet. You're just really far away. So I feel like we all kind of belong to the world. But the thing, saying I want no country, like, I don't know if I agree with that, because we all want to have somewhere to belong to, and I kind of also associated, like, I have no country with, like, a community and, like, a relationship. Like, I do want, like, that solid, like, I know where I am. I know, that foundation. But I also believe that we shouldn't restrict ourselves to just where we are in the moment. We should always kind of stay. So that's why I'm, like, in the middle.
Okay.
But I like it.
I think it's about perception because, like you said, oh my God, so many. Like if the world is supposed to be one
World is your
happy
oyster.
place, exactly. So if everything was the way we think it was before everything was divided, then I understand. But there's a perception of the black woman who, and then if you think about who Virginia Woolf was and what was happening in her life, like she wasn't okay. So maybe is it the quote of someone that was depressed? Like.
There's a lot that goes into it. That's why I want you guys to rate this.
So no, I'm not.
So what would you guys rate it as?
I think, to be fair, I'll leave it at 5 because, like we said, perspective.
You said 2?
I'm between, like, I honestly have the number 4 in my head. Why? Because I think I understand, like, as a woman, there are women everywhere, so we shouldn't have a specific placement. However, I'm a black woman, which means that I have the genes that allow me to give birth to every nation on this earth. So that's, in that way, that's why I asked her, is she black? Because if it's from that perspective, then technically the world is mine because I give birth to everything that exists. Does that make sense? However, to say I have no country, I cannot agree with that because my roots are too rich and too strong for me to say I have no country.
Or want
Like,
no country, yeah.
I have a whole continent. Like, no.
The number that came to my head was 4.5. I don't know why. Like, because I agree with, like, the unity, but it's true. Like, you can't just dismiss everything in your life, Like, we have a foundation. We have our people. We have our culture, So, like, of course, we all want to be one, but we also have to remember that there's individuality within that and communities that, like, have created a strong foundation to get to where we are. We're not just bonobos running in the street.
Yeah, I think it was something like, I come from this country, but I'm open to other countries or other,
And you, Jackie?
I think I'll give it I'm gonna, I don't know, like 3. Because
Okay, the average is 4.
we need a context.
the average is 4.
We need a context.
Yeah, we
and
need context, for sure.
when you've read her, you know that most of her family, like the guys in her family, went to war, and she was depressed and all of that. So there's
there was a lot
the
that
war
went into
aspect of it, and so I feel like, it depends.
Okay, so 4.
So these, this is the last quote, but it's 2 quotes that I'm gonna, because they're similar, and I'm gonna tell you guys, and then you guys can rate them. Women who seek to be equal with men lack ambition. Marilyn Monroe. Trying to be a man is a waste of a woman. Coco Chanel.
Can you say the first one again?
Women who seek to be equal with men lack ambition. That's Marilyn Monroe.
That's a touchy one. People could come eat you if it's like.
Trying to be a man is a waste of a woman. Coco Chanel.
I agree with that second one a lot. We're not men. We need to stop trying to be men. We are us,
And I think Coco Chanel and Marilyn Monroe are trying to say the same thing.
guess
Like,
so.
trying to deflect from our feminine energy is a waste of time when we should be trying to amplify it. So in that regard, like, I understand, except, the feminism in the modern woman, like, the feminism in me is screaming.
equality like should be like equality doesn't necessarily mean that we do the exact same things, you know? Like equality I think can be like a lot of people have stuck to like, okay, you do this job, I can also do this job. And it's like of course we can also do that job, but we don't like have to, you know? Like I can go work in the mines and like grind and do like things that are considered like manly jobs, but do I want to? And like I guess it's the to me either, you know? Equality I would say like the option to choose whether you want to do the same thing and knowing that we're capable of, but we don't like have to. And I think, you know, a lot of people try to force you to believe that, oh, like we can all do the same thing, we can, and it's like of course we can all do the same thing, but we do have different limitations, you know? We all have our own strengths in different ways. There are plenty of things that women can, like we can give birth, men can't give birth, and so they can, let's say they started a movement like we're equal, we can give birth, we want, you know? Like there's certain things that we have to accept that are different, and we can be equal in different things. We can have the same contribution in community, have the same contribution in the world by doing different things, you know? It's not always, it has to be identical, you know? Like there's this picture, I don't know if you've seen it, and it's like equality, and they each get one box to look over the fence, and then, but there's a short person and a tall person, and then they divide the box so that everyone can see over the fence.
So it's
and
like equity.
Exactly. So it's like you didn't get the exact same things, but you got the same results because we gave you we want you all to have the same thing, you know? So like that's why I'm like, I do like that quote. But there's also, can you read it again? I like that second one where we're like,
Better, women who seek to be equal with men lack ambition. Trying to be a man is a waste of a woman.
I don't think I would say lack ambition. I think they're very ambitious actually because they want to prove that like we can do those things too. But it also limits you to like want to do the, you know, like you can also do other things, bring things that people haven't thought of. I think it also focuses a lot of attention on doing the same things. I think
Let's rate them individually.
Because like to say that trying to be equal to a man lacks ambition doesn't sit well with me. Susan B. Anthony, all the feminists that fought for us to have our current rights to be able to vote. I think so a friend of mine told me only like about 6 years ago were women allowed to drive in Dubai.
Some places are.
You understand? Like there's nothing to them. That is their culture. That's fine. Like that is their preference. That is to each their own.
But they should also have the freedom of choice.
Exactly. So in that regard, I can't say it's a lack of ambition because we would not be able to be where we are. So and even in talks of pay, you know, corporate, familial, anything. We strive to get to where we are. Doesn't mean that we have necessarily the same strengths. And this is why I said earlier before, we have a more of an internal strength. And I think that sometimes it's not as quantified, and that's why we fight so much to show men that we can keep up with them. However, being a woman has its merits, has its beautiful sides to it, and I think we don't, because we're trying to compete with men so much, we tend to detract from that beauty. And in that regard, I also understand the other side of the coin. So personally, it's a 5 for me because I'm torn.
For the first one,
For both.
For both.
For the first one, I guess I would go 5 because. Like, it was based on the kind of what you said.
The lack of ambition.
Yeah, it's the lack of. I think feminism also stemmed from the fact that women were forced to hide their ambitions. We were expected to not be like, this is what you're gonna do, and it's like, what if I'm passionate about this? Like, what if I want to be a mechanic or I want to go into accounting and things that were considered male-dominated fields? We weren't allowed to excel in those things. We weren't allowed to show that we are also wise. We also have minds. Like we can learn, we can create. And that's what created that, like, we want to prove that we can do it because we can. The fact that women were restricted is what forced us to show that you can't restrict us because if we decided to, we could. And, you know, they're going to be like, yes, men created the world. And it's like, we're not going to say no, that, like, you were the first ones to, like, build. But, you know, women had their part in, like, uplifting it. And if women wanted to be equally part of the work field, like, they could.
They were.
That's actually the quote I have for the men next.
And I definitely think women should stop acting like men because we're women. Men are men. Women are women. We're all beautiful. We're all human. But our energies are a little different, and we should allow ourselves to exist in the energy that we have, or the energy that we accept ourselves to be. We all have a bit of masculine. We all have a bit of feminine, and just accept your balances, your levels, and don't judge yourself for it and try to become something else. Just become yourself. So.
And I think also it's about like breaking this glass ceiling that has been put on women on how far they can go and what they're allowed to do. I think that's what's kind of tiring, asking a woman to follow a specific path, and then once you reach a certain level, it's just like, that's not really what women usually do. So it's like, I think it's that's the problem, and that's what we want to get out of. So it's just like, I wouldn't say someone lacks ambition because they want equality. I think they just. I think I'd rate it. I think I'll go with 5.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I found nice quotes.
It's like they're quotes that can go either way.
Yeah.
That's
In the
true
middle,
perception.
there's
again.
truth to it.
Yeah.
There's also that part where it's like it's not completely true. It's it's a fact, but there's also the aspect that if I say like that's a 10, that's also restricting myself in that. I completely believe that, and it's like I agree to it to a certain extent, and I disagree to a certain extent, and that's why you found yourself in the middle because you're like, it's not wrong, but it's not right. So it's,
Je réponds en français pour celle-là, mais j'ai le sentiment que pour la première, si on la mettait en contexte, si on donnait l'opportunité à ces femmes d'expliquer leur... ouais, on comprendrait peut-être mieux. J'ai le sentiment que ce qu'elle essayait de dire, c'est que on peut déjà faire tout ce qu'un homme fait. On est capable de le faire, on devrait être capable de le faire. On devrait être capable de voter, de toutes ces choses-là. Mais on peut faire beaucoup plus encore. Donc, il ne faut pas juste... Je me dis, en tout cas qu'elle s'est dit, on ne va pas juste se limiter à « je veux faire tout ce qu'un homme fait », alors que... Et en oubliant ce que la femme est capable de faire.
Si vous avez remarqué, Jackie a dit on peut faire beaucoup plus. Même fois. That's why your expectation doesn't make you get happy. You're happy parce qu'on peut faire beaucoup plus.
Non, mais j'ai vraiment le... en tout cas, c'est comme ça que j'ai entendu cette...
Non, it's nice.
Tu vois?
Yeah, like cap on it.
Mais en même temps, si on entend cette quote sans contexte,
C'est un peu difficile.
c'est difficile. Et dans ce cas-là, on se dit, je suis désolée, mais non. C'est pas
Alors,
juste
what
ça.
do you rate it?
5 aussi. Sans contexte, 5. Sans explication, 5.
All right, thank you guys. That was our In the Mind of a Woman. Let us know at home what you guys thought. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
it's a good vibe, good energy.
Yes, it was.
The
And I
dynamic.
hope you guys watched the In the Mind of a Man.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
interesting as well. So have a good Sunday, guys, and let's start our week on a good note.
Thank you.
2 weeks. That was awesome.
Yeah,
That was beautiful. That was even better than in my mind.
See, the lateness was worth it, Abby.
No, it was not worth it. It was totally